Today you'll be building this Breville display. Locate this wooden box. Locate this cardboard box. When you open up the boxes, you'll find hardware and keys in these red poly bags. There will be 3 lengths of screws. Set these aside. These are the brackets for the glass shelving. Set these aside. This is the base section. This is the header section. This is the middle section. Remove the lid from the middle section. There are 3 screws on top and 8 screws underneath. You should now see the wiring like this. Unplug the 2 cables as shown and feed through the holes as shown. These will be plugged back into the same cables later on. Also locate the spare plug that we will plug the header cable into later on. Lower the middle section onto the base section. Take care not to crush the 2 wires in the back. Feed these wires through the corresponding holes in the middle section. Also take care not to crush the tile graphic back panels as you lower the middle section down. Ensure that you can clearly see all the slots in the uprights, or you won't be able to put the shelf brackets in later on. If they have moved, carefully push them back to reveal all the slots before securing the middle and base sections together. Use 4 of the M6x15mm screws to attach front of middle section to the base section. Use 4 of the M6x50mm screws to attach the back of the middle section to the base section. Feed the 2 cables back through the holes in the back panels and plug them into the same plugs you unplugged them from earlier. Ensure that all nuts that hold the letters on are secure. They only need to be finger tightened. Remove tape from the cables at the top of the middle section. Place header on top of the unit in the orientation shown. Feed the cable from the fabric light box through the corresponding hole in the bottom of the header. As you lower the header down, be very careful not to crush this cable. You will need to carefully pull this through the top of the header as you lower it so it doesn't crush. Feed the two other cables from the top of the middle section up through the holes in the header as shown. You will find 3 DC plugs in the header that you will plug the 3 cables that come from the middle section into. You will find one long cable like this. Remove the wire. Feed the cable down through the back left-hand corner hole as shown. Here you can see the cable coming through the back of the unit. Feed the cable through the hole at the bottom of the tile graphic and plug into the remaining DC plug. Screw header to middle section with 5mm 6x30mm screws. Remove the fabric graphic and screw 8mm 6x30mm screws into the header and side panels as shown. Place fabric graphic back on. Feed 2 mains power cables through the holes as shown and to the back of the unit. Use cable ties and cable management pads to neatly push all the wiring to the back of the tray. This is so they don't interfere with the lid dropping down. Carefully place lid back down. Make sure that none of the cables at the back are crushed by the hat section on the lid. Ensure that the front edge of the lid is flush with the opal acrylic surface and there is no gap between the two parts. This is very important because coffee grinds will be used on this display. Reattach the 3 screws on top and 8 screws underneath. Position the unit in its final position and plug in the power plugs. Level it by removing the magnetic base panels and adjusting the feet. Position the base shelves evenly as shown. Plug the DC plugs in so that they light up. This is a very fragile part. Carefully position opal panel under the header. You will need to flex the back in first and let the front carefully drop down. Position the glass shelves in the same position as shown in this photo. The 2 black brackets are on the outside and the 2 white ones are in the middle. Ensure the 2 middle brackets sit out at 90 degrees to the unit and are not at an angle when placing the glass shelf down. Ensure that all lights are working. Lights to check are the logo, the fabric light box, under header lighting, side panel lighting, bench top lighting, shelf lighting, and base lighting. Here is the finished display.